Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth video of Easy Neuro. Today's topic is the structure of a neuron. So let's begin. Now, our nervous system is made up of special cells called neurons. Okay, so we can say that neurons act as the functional units of our nervous system. Okay, and the special property of these cells is that they can receive as well as conduct information in the form of electrical impulses to other cells. Okay, so they act as the receivers as well as the conductors or transmitters of the information. All right, apart from that, neurons can also integrate as well as interpret information, which means that they can integrate the information they are receiving from all other cells. Okay, so they will put that information together and then process it or interpret it, and then they will conduct that processed information to their targeted cells or neurons. All right, also neurons, they can be found in different shapes and sizes, and they have different features also, so they can be classified into different categories, which we will see in the next videos. But now let's focus on the structure of a typical neuron. So a typical neuron is basically consisting of four defined regions, which are namely the cell body, the dendrites, the axon, and the presynaptic terminal. Alright, so let's start with the cell body. So the cell body is also known as the soma or the perikaryon. Okay, now the cell body consists of the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, the nucleus, the nucleolus. Also, the cytoplasm has other organelles which are found in other cells also, similarly, like similar new organelles such as the mitochondria, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, etc. Okay, but one special feature of this neuronal cytoplasm is that they contain Nissl bodies. So the granules that you see over here are actually the Nissl bodies or Nissl granules as they are called. And these are actually made up of the rough endoplasmic reticulum and the free ribosomes. Okay, so this means that they can produce proteins. Okay, so these Nissl granules are really important for protein synthesis, which will then be used for maintenance of the neurons, for repairing them, also for production of enzymes or neurotransmitters. Okay, so that is the function of these Nissl bodies or Nissl granules. Alright, now our cell body also gives rise to certain processes which are known as the neurites. Okay, so neurites are basically the processes which are arising from the cell body, and they are divided into two types, the dendrites and the axon. Okay, so dendrites are these small branched processes which are coming out of the cell body. Okay, and they basically branch out like a tree. All right, and they also contain certain amount of Nissl bodies. Okay, so which means that certain amount of synthesis of proteins also happens in the dendrites. Okay, and the function of these dendrites is that they receive the information. Okay, so receive the incoming information from other cells and pass it to the cell body. All right, now the second process of the cell body which is coming out of the cell body is this axon. Okay, so this is another neurite, and it is actually one long branch which is coming out of the cell body, and its feature is that it conducts impulses away from the cell body. Okay, so dendrites convey information towards the cell body, the axon conveys information away from it. All right, now this region that you see over here is just where the axon is about to start. It's a Nissl free zone. Okay, so it does not contain any Nissl granules, and this is known as the axon hillock, and also this is the initial segment of the axon. So what these two parts are really important for is that they give rise to electrical impulses or action potentials as they are known. Okay, so action potentials are basically those signals which will be generated, electrical impulses which will be generated, that will then pass on the information or will pass on through this axon to the next cells. Alright, so we will study more about what action potential is in the next videos. Alright, apart from that, you must have heard that neurons can be myelinated or unmyelinated. So what does that mean is that certain axons are actually covered by a layer of an insulating layer of proteins and fatty substances. Okay, so that layer is known as the myelin sheath. Okay, so myelin sheath is a layer which is made up of proteins or fatty substances, and it acts like an insulating layer. So it prevents the leakage of electrical impulses. Okay, so when the electrical impulses are being passed on, it prevents their leakage. Alright, now also there's also a gap between these layers of myelin sheath, and they are known as the nodes of Ranvier. Okay, now the axon, it ends in these small swellings that you see over here known as the terminal botons. Alright, and they form a part of the presynaptic terminal. Alright, they form a part of the presynaptic terminal. So the information, the electrical impulses will pass on over here, and then they will cross a synapse. So a synapse is basically a junction that is present between two cells, okay, or two neurons actually, to be specific. Alright, okay, so the information will pass on through the synapse to the next cell, and the next cell which will be known as the postsynaptic cell or postsynaptic neuron. Okay, so we will study more about the synapse also. Also the synapse can be so the presynaptic cell can actually terminate at different cells. It not necessarily be a neuron. Okay, for example, if the presynaptic neuron ends at a muscle, the synapse will be called a neuromuscular junction. Okay, so these are the four important regions of a neuron: the cell body, the dendrites, the axon, and the presynaptic terminal. Alright, so I hope you liked today's video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. If you have any questions or any suggestions about a topic that you would like to study, please leave it in the comment section below. Till then, thank you very much and see you next time.